All right, good evening, everyone. I'm really honored to share the stage with, I've met most everyone, Bob, Tina, Scott, Harlan, Tim, Seth. Really an honor to be here with you guys tonight. This is just a quick presentation. I'd say it's Alhambra Hills 101. Most of y'all are probably very familiar with this project. Here's a nice view. You can see my screen, right? And audio sounds good?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Yeah, this is a view of the Muir House. Alhambra Hills is this ridge line here in the background. This is kind of the tip of the iceberg. It runs north-south. So this is a view from Briones Park. If you were standing here in Briones Park, which is about 6,000 acres, you can see the Alhambra Hills off to the right, the ridge line. It's about 300 acres that Richland owns, 500 acres if you include some of the surrounding properties. Mount Wanda here to the left, and John Muir is buried actually between those two ridge lines, about 300 acres. This is what's
Ridgefield.
What's that?
Did you mean Ridgefield, Jamie?
Did I say Richland?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Richfield. I will always get that confused, I think. So this is what, well, it's Richfield. Okay, Richfield. I thought it was Richland now. They've changed their name.
That would be news to me, but
okay. This is what they've proposed in terms of the 106 homes. Is a crude rendering, but you can get the sense it's very dense housing up on the ridge line. There's a lot of 2-to-1 grading with V ditches, and if you look around Martinez, there's a lot of 2-to-1 grading that we have already that's sliding. So you can only imagine the black plastic and problems that would happen if this gets built. I'm a photographer by heart. I've always wanted to get people up on the hill. If they could experience it, I figured that they would want to save it and have more passion to save it. But the best I can do is try to share photos. I think Muir, one of my favorite quotes of Martinez was he said, "It's delightful in color like a fairyland." And when you get up there, that's what you feel. This photo on the right was one of my favorites. It was when we had the lockdowns, the air was so blue and crisp. I'd never seen anything like it. And my best photos of 2020, the early lockdown. It's a very sad time, but beautiful photos. The trees, originally I started out, I wanted to take a photo of all 200 trees that were going to be removed. There was ones like this that just captured my heart and soul, and I could not stand to see them removed. So I went to all the city council meetings back in 2011, learned as much as I could about the view from Mount Wanda, where we have a plaque of Muir and the ridge line here. And Tim Platt, and the team that had started the Alhambra Hills group came up with the idea of, well, what if we could find a map that proved that this was John Muir's hill? And I started looking at all the archives. I found this photo of Muir and Martinez hugging this very large oak tree. I'd seen some similar trees up on the ridge line. Still kept hunting for a map. I saw a lot of trail connections from this ridge line. You could connect to Wanda, Briones Park, to the Canal Trail. Basically just kept searching and searching. And it wasn't until we found this map, ironically, I found it at the John Muir public workshop for his gravesite, which is right here, this little green circle. And Gretchen, the National Park Ranger, I emailed her and said, can I get a copy of that uncropped? And sure enough, we found that this Muir parcel right here in red. And when you line it up with Google Earth, here's a picture of the gravesite. You line it up with Google Earth, you can see it's right there smack at the top of the Alhambra Hills, the highest hill in the city. This curved tree at the very top of our city is slated to be to be removed. It's this tree right here. And if we're able to save it, then there's a very neat trail connection across public right-of-way. If we built a bridge across the creek here, especially simple, up to Mount Wanda and the Almond Ranch that was recently acquired along with West Hills Farms right here. This is Muir's home back when it was mostly orchards. You can see the ridgeline here. Ironically, that same curved tree still there in this photo. These trees date back. I went back on Google Earth, 1939, as far as you can go. Those trees are there. So you feel a lot of history when you're up on this ridgeline. It's quite overwhelming. So I started a change.org petition, just throwing spaghetti on the wall. It's a little cropped here for some reason. We got 5,000 signatures in a couple weeks, and City Council changed their tune. You know, there was such an uprising that fast forward a couple of years later, I've got this letter we wrote the developer, and every city council member signed it for me. That, Seth, am I over time?
You're just right at it. So if you can start.
I just got a couple more slides. So we're at the point where the city's negotiating. There's endangered species. Everyone wants to save the land. What I'm asking for, and this is where I need your help, I have 5,000 flyers at my house. I have 5,000 photos. You guys have graciously donated. I've spent a lot of my own personal money. We want to get these flyers on everyone's doorstep in the next 2 weeks. There's a poll coming out, and if we can get 66% of the whoever they end up polling to be positive about this, then we move a step forward. So I'm trying to take it one step at a time. This is my ask, is if you know anyone who's willing to go door to door and hand out these flyers and these beautiful photos, that's the ask today, the next step. And so I'll finish there. There's a nice video here. You can see just the beauty of the hill. I'm not gonna spend the whole time on the video.
So Jamie, let me ask you though, if people want to pass out the flyers, how would one get involved with that? What would they need to do? Who would they contact?
Just get a hold of me. My cell phone is 510-326-0442. We have a website that's coming online pretty soon, alhambrahillsopenspace.org. It should be up today. We have a Facebook page, Alhambra Hills Open Space Committee. But if you could send an email to your folks, maybe asking, and they could email you back and just get a hold of me, and I'll get the flyers to them.